Cities in China are on high alert against COVID-19 as the holiday travel season begins. Hundreds of millions of people typically travel across the country in the lead up to Chinese New Year. But the coronavirus and the Omicron variant are looming large. Daily COVID infections have topped 200, the country's highest tally in nearly 2 years.
It's the start of the peak travel season in China, but COVID-19 is casting a long shadow. Many regions have advised residents to stay put. Dozens of international and domestic flights have been suspended to restrict movements between cities. Some cities now require residents to report their travel plans 3 days ahead of arrival, while the capital Beijing is demanding a negative test before travel and a follow-up test after entering the city. Omicron is compounding concerns. Cases have already been detected in at least 5 provinces. The variant has also made its way to Beijing 3 weeks before the Winter Olympics.
到现在一共才流行了3个多月，人们对它认识还不全。但是从我们以前德尔塔病毒的感染情况来看，一定要抓紧时间治疗，不要大意。它跟流感不一样。
China has routinely imposed lockdowns and mass testing as part of its COVID-0 strategy, but the continued spread of the virus is piling pressure on this approach. There are also concerns the strict curbs will take a mounting toll on the Chinese economy.
Olivia Xiong joins us live now from Beijing for more on this. Olivia, Omicron spreading further with 1 case detected in the capital. How concerned are authorities, though, with the Winter Games just weeks away?
Yeah, this has definitely sounded the alarm bells. We are just less than 3 weeks away from the start of the Winter Olympics being hosted here in the Chinese capital, Beijing. And prior to this latest Omicron case being detected in Beijing, there had already been strict measures to try and safeguard the capital and try to keep the virus out of Beijing. But nonetheless, over the weekend, this confirmed case was reported. And what we are also hearing is that this person did not have any contact with a confirmed case and had not left the city in the last 14 days. Health authorities now saying that it's possible that this individual caught the virus from overseas mail after testing found the Omicron variant on a letter that he had received, even though we must point out that many scientists have discredited this way of transmission of COVID-19 through surfaces, even though this is something that China has reported on before. Now, health authorities are saying that this single case, this Omicron case detected here in Beijing, will not affect the Winter Olympics per se, but it is also warning of an additional risk as we are about to see a large influx of Winter Olympics participants coming into China in the coming week. Reports are saying that there will be 12 flights with over 200 personnel expected to arrive from this weekend. And this is the largest influx of people into China since the pandemic began. And that's because China, with its zero COVID approach, has kept its borders largely closed off to international travelers. And these participants will be kept in a so-called closed loop away from the public. And so authorities are saying that these measures that it has in place should be enough to contain the virus. No changes are needed at the moment, but it has said there is flexibility for change if there is large-scale transmission within this closed loop, and it is expecting a certain number of cases to be detected within this closed loop environment as well.
And Olivia, is it possible, though, that there could be more restrictions on the way to stop the spread of coronavirus during the Chinese New Year holiday?
Yeah, Don, that is something that we will be closely watching, and is very possible depending on the developments of this latest COVID-19 flare-up. Remember that China's case numbers are relatively low compared to other countries in the world, but it has adopted a zero COVID policy, which it has looked like it's not about to change anytime soon. Authorities have warned that this increased travel during the Chinese New Year period would increase the risk of transmission. After all, we're talking about 1.2 billion passenger trips expected this year. That's up about 36% compared to last year. And China has stuck to a zero COVID approach. There are varying degrees of strictness when it comes to measures to try and contain the virus in different parts of the country. But here in Beijing, it's highly likely that we will see stricter measures, already more COVID-19 tests and flights and trains into the capital being cancelled.
Olivia, thank you for that update. Olivia Xiong reporting live there from Beijing.